What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. We're going to be talking about how I'm going to go about building my Silverwolf main stat, sub stat, as well as go into the details as to how she can perform as a supportive debuffer, or if you want her to perform as a debuffer who also deals ridiculous damage with her nuke ult, because it has a ridiculously massive multiplier. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Okay, so me personally, first and foremost, guys, her best DPS set, Captain Obvious, let's get it out the way. Obviously, it's going to be this bad boy. If you're trying to build your Silverwolf for damage, this is going to be the set, right? But the problem is, building a supportive unit for damage isn't exactly optimal with gacha games who limit your grind to the utmost extreme scenario possible. So building for a DPS set on a support is not a priority for me personally. In fact, it is very wasteful, in my personal opinion, to build her as a DPS when she's not a necessity to be a DPS. Now, as I said before, she has some massive multipliers, so I can really see her popping off with her ult. It's almost 400% at talent level 10, which is crazy, but she's not necessary as a DPS. And going through RNG hell just to make a support do a little bit more damage, yeah, you get my point. So you can go for this if you're trying to build her up for damage, but me personally, man, this is where I'm gonna put my investment. I'll explain exactly why it's actually a really good option to go for. One, first and foremost, if you have Su Shang, she's a very good physical DPS that can be applied to many scenarios in the current meta right now. So if you don't get the stats you need, at the very least, you're getting some physical stats for your physical DPS, even physical Trailblazer Traveler if you like playing him. But the point I'm trying to say here is you can't really go wrong with this dungeon because of that. Now, let's talk about the value of the break effect set on Silverwolf. Is it good? Is that really good for Silverwolf? Yes, it actually really is. Quantum units can stack their quantum element dot after breaking a shield, which actually does a ridiculous amount of damage. If you're a Scylla player, you know this already. But the other really unique factor about quantum and imaginary elements is upon breaking the shield, they also delay action. Now, there's a regular action delay that occurs when you break a shield, period. No matter what element you're using, breaking a shield gives you a 25% action value delay, period. But quantum and imaginary give another delay percentage on top of that 25%. Quantum gives a 20% base action delay. And this, gentlemen and ladies, is where the break effect set comes into play. Quantum delay action value at base scales off of your break effect percentage. So let's bring out our trusty calculator here. If we have 100% break effect in our build and quantum delays the action value of the characters or the enemies by 20%, that means with our 100% action value, it's now going to be a 40% action value plus the shield break innate action delay. So that's a 65 action value delay, which is almost as powerful as a freeze, which is insane. So I really like the idea of building her with the break effect set because she can not only break shields delay their action value drastically, but she's also going to be debuffing them both to their the element that they're weak to or the element that they're not weak to, in addition to an all type resistance buff. You guys know, you've read the kit, it's pretty insane. But yeah, in my personal opinion, this is the better investment for now until you get your DPS set, which is gonna take a long time. They don't be out here dropping crit rate body pieces and quantum spheres like the stock market is dropping these days. That just don't be happening. So this set is really a good way to go about using your Silverwolf. Not to mention, as a support, it's the best relic set in the game for her as a support unit. If you're using her as support wolf, you cannot go wrong with this set. Delays their action value drastically, increases her dot damage, and she can still deal damage. You can still build her as a damage dealer with this set, given you get the right pieces. But if you don't get the right pieces, it's okay to go full-blown support. Effect hit rate right here on the body. Speed right here, which again, you're gonna have a much higher chance of getting speed on this set than you will on a quantum set. Not to say that you won't, some of you probably already have, but you get what I'm going. But right here, you can go for a break effect main stat, which is gonna be 64% at level 20. Or no, level 15, I'm sorry. Dude, I'm not kidding. Genshin's in my head perma. It's perma debuffed in my head, bro. At level 15, relic, you get 64% break effect, which is, that's insane. And then you couple that with the relic set over here, that's 32. You're already at 100% break effect. You're already taking the 20% quantum delay action value and turning it into a 40%. So you can't go wrong with that, which we're going to get into the relic recommendations here in a bit. But that's what I'm trying to sell this point home further. And then, not to mention, the most important thing about her is making sure you land the debuffs that you're trying to apply. So effect hit rate is a very important main stat. Now, the beautiful thing is her traces come with another 18% effect hit rate. So she's gonna have a ridiculous amount of hit rate. She's going to be good to go if you put a effect hit rate main stat on her with this set. The other thing that's very attractive about it is when the wearer inflicts weakness break on an enemy, they regenerate 3 energy. Obviously, you want her ult up as much as possible because of the massive defensive shred she's going to get. But the really cool thing about all of this is that her technique literally does 60 toughness break upon entering battle to all units, and 60 toughness break can literally break the shields of the enemies that are not necessarily elites. They're like kind of in between from the small mobs to the elite. Basically, I'll give you a clear-cut example here. Actually, let's come over here to this place, enter the Forgotten Hall. Come over here. These annoying douchebags right here, they are very fast and they hit twice before you hit once, and they do a ridiculous amount of damage. Yeah, if you use Silverwolf's technique, she's breaking their shields upon entering battle and delaying their turns with the scenario that I just provided for you by 65% action value, which is massive. That's going to allow your whole damn team to go before they get a chance to go once, which means you'll kill them before they even get a chance to attack. Massive, huge, big brain, 500 IQ. So that's why it's really good to go for the break effect set on Silverwolf. Now, I do want to get into the substat details as well. What kind of substats are we going for here? Obviously, if you're going full blown support, like you're not even worried about her dealing damage at all, I would go effect hit rate with defense and HP and speed and break effect. And now obviously that's 5 stats, right? Ideally, effect, hit rate, speed, break effect, and then after that, maybe a defense or a HP just to throw some survivability in there. But if you're trying to actually build her for damage, obviously, crit rate, crit damage, break effect or speed, and then of course, attack percent or effect hit rate. One or the other. You can't go wrong with those. But those are the substats I recommend. Now for the relic sets, you got a couple of options here. But again, if you're going full blown support, I don't really see the value in this because you're going to be running a main stat and it's giving you attack percent, which again, you're not worried about her dealing damage. So this is useless for a support. I would go more towards this bad boy. If you, good luck getting the main stats on it, right? You want to kind of go for a, honestly, you can really do whatever the hell you want to do right here. You can go attack percent, you can go defense, HP. It doesn't really matter for support wolf. Full-blown support wolf, don't care about damage type of ordeal. But you want to make sure this is break effect, actually, period. You just want to make sure this bad boy's break effect. 64% break effect is just absolutely insane. If you're not running support Silverwolf, then you probably want to go for attack percent or energy recharge. Honestly, even if you're doing DPS Silverwolf, you can still do break effect. That 64% is just ridiculously massive, man. But I will say, going for a 43% attack boost is gonna provide a substantial amount of increase in your nuke with your burst. Energy recharge, I don't really think it's necessary on her. She only has 110 ER, and she actually has some pretty self-sufficient ER additions to her kit, especially if you're running over the break effect set. And then the light cone she's getting provides energy recharge to her when she attacks enemies with defense debuffs. The free-to-play light cone that's coming also gives you effect hit rate increase as well, which is insane. So you don't really need to run her with the energy recharge, in my personal opinion. I would really go for DPS, I'd go for attack percent or break effect. I think break effect is a big brain IQ for Silverwolf, and it's a sleeper just because he's quantum. Now, the final thing I would recommend, and that is if you can even get it, is this bad boy. But you have to get her to 145 speed. So you're absolutely going to need a speed boot. She only has 107 speed, so she's gonna be at 132. So you're gonna have to make up for a 13 speed deficit within her substats, which I'm not gonna lie, that's a bit of a grind. It's not too hard to do, but it is a bit of a grind. But if you can pull that off, you get an extra 36% break effect. That's also massive, man. I'm not gonna tell you, the dot's gonna be dealing some crazy damage, and she's gonna be slowing the shit out of the units. Another valuable thing that's worth mentioning while we're on that topic is, if you miss her RNG to add the weakness you wanted to add that your main DPS has, then you can just use her own, because she'll probably add quantum instead. You can just break their shields with her, delay their turns massively, and then reapply a different weakness next turn, which honestly, there's a bit of a double value there. But this is what I'm going to be doing. Now, when it's all said and done, I'd like to reiterate, If you're going for Silverwolf DPS, obviously you want to go for the Quantum set. It's a very strong set. It has defensive shred plus a 10% damage bonus. You just can't go wrong with it when you're trying to do more damage. Like this is crazy, man. On top of her defensive shred, you might be thinking diminishing returns, but it's not. No, it's not the case. It just gets more cracked on her. This is a very powerful set. It's just hard to get the right main stat pieces, and to try to do all that effort for just a sub DPS, a support, it just doesn't seem like the effort for me. However, if you're mid-maxing your Scylla, I don't own Scylla, so I don't give a damn about this set right now. But if you're mid-maxing your Scylla, you can't really go wrong with grinding this domain out anyways, right? Anyways, guys, that's what we're going to be doing. Hopefully I brought y'all some value as always. I'm looking forward to pulling for her. Hopefully we win our 50-50, or otherwise I might be sitting in the back with Amber watching everybody else play Silverwolf. We'll see what happens. But yeah, y'all take care, and I'll catch you on the flip side.